All right, hello world. Hodler team is back at it again, tracking the mojo phenomenon, the human qualia phenomenon, and sharing our methodology for doing so and the data we've collected so far and what we think it may mean, possibly. All right, so we are right now going over some of the purifications that have happened over this last year, and a lot of that has to do with centralist males, although there are several other trends we're tracking there as well. So we'll go ahead and just get into it. I am Nai G Coach.
I am Jaini Jalin.
I'm Nigel Mitchell.
I'm Nai Ben.
And this is Nai G Glenn.
Awesome. All right, so go ahead and just keep getting into it.
All right, so let's get into the collage.
This processing and purification is very, very important. All right, so we are refreshing in that, any riff that comes up, we can go and take tonight, but then tonight, within that time frame, if there are any repeats of a riff, we'll just go ahead and briefly mention and move on. Okay, so this is Vijay 0. I actually don't know what I had him down as, probably one of the Niges, but you can see that he's got the classic gatherer energy, but the eyes are a bit more clear. Although you can see that like a lot of these Vijay male riffs, not like the female in their way, but it's got that more serious gravitas, but there's a bit more of a angriness to it. The slinkiness that the Vijay females have, who have a lot of Nai, it doesn't quite, manifest this way that the males do. Well, at least not a lot of them. This more, I guess, kind of, not saying like a gangster, you know what I mean, but like street.
I think even Minaj has a little bit of that.
Say again?
I think even Minaj has a little bit of that.
Yeah.
A little angry.
You're right. And she's actually, she's the one that probably does more rap than a lot of the other pop stars.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. She hangs out with all these guys.
So yeah, and then also say he has, you guys, we've tracked this for a while now. It's subtle, but it's there. That skin quality. It's got that soft suppleness as compared to the more vibratory quality of a knee mojo.
Okay, here, another Vijay T-Pain. I'm guessing he might have been read as a Nijai, maybe?
Or Naiji.
Or Naiji. So similar. The quality of the skin, as far as more, it's not, it's more dense looking, more yang.
Soft dense. Yeah.
Soft dense. Okay.
I like that. You're right.
Yeah.
It's yin, but it's firmer than knee.
Yeah, it is. And the laser eyes.
Nijai Holiday Granker.
He had been down as a Nizai.
Interesting. Okay. Well, was that like a common thing, or just like her particularly
I think for me that was probably. I think I let her affect me just on a personal level, and that her game. She's got a lot of kind of like quick energy, which I don't in general, but there was something about it reminded me of like the jazziness a little bit that I associate with Nizai. So I think I allow that association to outweigh the Q signal. That like here on the right, I think that picture like that one, her makeup is a little more glammy. Originally, I had two pictures that were like that, and I think that led me as well because I believe my memory's crap for most things, but this stuff I'm actually remembering well because it's like an ongoing operation. Is I changed that left picture to be the one you see there. Probably that left picture seems fairly obviously Nijai, but imagine two pictures like the one on the right. And she was smiling, I think, at one of them, so it kind of looked like a bit of Cheshire cat because of the bright red lipstick and the rather, porcelain skin makeup job there on the cheeks. So
interesting. Yeah, like I know, like Nijai's times, like they can have this game where, like their game is quick, and they do a lot of knee and Z's. They don't like dwell on the Jai too much.
Yeah.
And so when you don't see that, it could definitely seem like Nizai. And it can also be like, just very, I don't know, observant of people.
Yeah.
In a way that could even look like G. But it's not. It's just that they're Nijez.
And then also, yeah, definitely, that's kind of the style of maneuver she was doing. And then like her look, a lot of it has a bit of this sort of like, I'll say like porcelain glam.
Yeah.
that we mentioned before, you see more on the Ni Zai and the Vi Zai, and ironically, they share a bit of how they style themselves a bit, their choices. I don't know why that is, but they like the makeup tutorials. They both show up.
And the Ziny, I think, probably. All right.
No, so he hasn't distinguished.
Oh, should I just use a cue that distinguishes between them and the Ni Zai? Just a cues? Okay, well, she's not doing G. I mean, particularly, I mean, you can see on the left, her face is impassive, but it's not. This is not like a stone face or steel face, as we now call it. Impassive. It has like a mood to it, tone, poignancy.
I'm resonating exactly.
Oh, cool. So what was she read as before?
I believe Naiji.
Okay. So
They have tracking is actually a good deal more Vaiji in there than I thought, particularly the ladies. The ladies cross over, the Vaiji ladies and the Zenai ladies cross over quite a bit into.
She is very interesting. I'll speak about her a little more once Ben.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I'll let Ben distinguish.
okay, sure thing. So this is Vaiji Patricia Churchland. She was originally read as a Naiji. I do notice when it comes to her eyes, they do look rather pointed, and pointed in more of a, very finely pointed, more in like a concerned kind of way. Not just in a hunterish way, but also in a, pointed, very, very exact look to the eyes, very concrete look to them. And that is that indicates that she has Vi as one of her conscious powers, and more so with it being the source power, it takes up the dominant signal in her face. Sorry, were you? I wasn't quite done, but I mean,
go. Keep going.
all right. She also has G, and that's going to give an aware quality to the mouth, and that's going to go up into the cheeks. Authors, they can be very very thoughtful, very deep thinkers. I'm not entirely sure what she writes about, but that can cause a person to have a good amount of Nez development, and thus it can be easier to see the person perhaps as a Naiji when they're a Vaiji. But the cues are still very distinguishable, particularly with the Vi concerned in the eyes. Okay, you can go, Mitchell.
I interrupted. Anyway, she was part of the batch that got released by accident, I think, originally. So I hadn't realized she was read for a while. I actually had wanted her read, and I almost put her on my most recent quiz, but I always, before I go to put my samples of the quiz, I always look at the Excel document just to make sure that it didn't get read already by accident. I didn't realize that, and she actually had, and she's Vaiji. She is, in particular, besides just an author, she's a philosopher, actually, in the analytic tradition, and a neuroscientist. She just like this neurophilosophy thing. So I didn't know that I expected to see so many Vaiji doing that. When I was reading her, I had like the hardest time. I had no idea what she was. But that's an interesting trend.
I forget his name, but I think that guy who did the NLP, he's also
he is. See, she does like this neuromorality thing, and she studies consciousness. She's very, very, very intellectual.
Interesting. It's very interesting. You can see she has good knee, the polar knee.
There are a fair amount of Vaiji females in academia, by the way.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because it's an area maybe another, just like the Durser females, where they can express their dominance, but not as much in science and technology. They go more in like the humanities. Yeah. Or some are maybe sometimes straddling the line with something like neuroscience and philosophy.
Yeah, that's interesting.
This one here is yours, Glenn.
Right. Okay. So this is Ziny Jessica Drake. She was previously read as a.
I believe a Naiji.
Naiji, I figured. So yeah, there's a lot of similarities that I suppose you could say between the Ziny and the Naiji. They're both subjective, both interpretive. They both have Zhai and Ji as their discernment powers. But for the Nai Ji, they're going to have more Ji, and that's going to cause their emoting to go up all the way to the brim line. But Jessica Drake here, she has Zai as her source power, so that's going to give her more of a steely look throughout her entire face. And she also has a unifield face as well. So the Zai is going to be it's going to give that unflappable quality throughout the entire face. And the G is going to be only localized in just the mouth area. And her eyes, they have a more of a dancing quality to them, not so much a piercing, cunning quality that the Nai would naturally bring. And other than that, she's also an adaptive, so she's going to have more of a loose quality to her overall energy, whereas a hunter, a Naiji, is going to have more of a tensioned quality. It would come up in the smiling, it would come up in the eyes, it would come up in the entire spectrum of all of the cues, because directive and adaptive is one of the main energy fields that get brought up, that basically set the tone for all the other cues that follow from there. So subjective and all that sort of stuff. So she's definitely an adaptive. She's definitely a Zaini, not a Naishi.
I'll just add to that that her riff, there's something they don't film. I haven't gotten into that the main bubble yet, but I have seen some trends already. And one is of like the huntress, like a sexual huntress or like mistress.
Seductress, you mean?
No, because they all do that. The Vijay, the Zaini, the three that show up in the adult film, they all do seductress. But some of them do more like, oh, I'm a Cupid doll. I'm like, you know what I mean? I'm just open to whatever you want or something. And others do like, I'm a bad girl, and I have tattoos, and I have piercings, and I'm bad. We'll be bad together. And then there's this other one, and they all do these, but I noticed the Zaini does it a bit more, is like, I'm like this, I'm going to teach you how to do this. You know what I mean? And so it has a bit more of like a...
right, I get what you're saying. A dominatrix kind of quality to it.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
And in this case, it's not quite dominatrix. That's kind of that's a far end of the spectrum, but sort of like taking control. I know what I'm doing. I'll
take charge and teach you.
Exactly. And so they have like this a regalness, like and the more you give it, it's still kind of yang. Like, I'm a regal lady, and I'll see if you're good enough to impress me. And so the makeup, for example, it's subtle. I think you guys can see there on the left. The right's a little fuzzy, but it's still there, but especially on the left, which is clear. This has a bit more of like a Cleopatra look. I mean, it's more regal. If you study the way the whole style of it, it's a bit
what she was.
A bit more haughty. As compared to a lot of the makeup they do, it's like, I'm a doll. Their makeup exaggerates their doll-likeness. You know what I mean? In fact, that's more popular in the adult film, but this is a version of it. Anyway, this version is Zaini. There's another version of it that's similar, not adult film, but in modeling, high fashion, there's a strong riff of Zaini, actually all of them, but the Zaini in particular, where they do this, like, I'm unimpressed, impress me. And it's in high demand. And so if there is a correlation, and on that riff of Zaini, I also find challenging sometimes to distinguish from the Naiji, like a sort of like an imperious Naiji versus like regal Zaini. So anyways, throwing out that's one thing that gave me challenge. For example, myself, I see the knee, but I also see she seems to have a good amount of vibe. She's like a serious lady. Energy is also kind of like proactively letting you know how you're doing.
It's interesting.
Yeah, she has strong.
Make you wonder what Cleopatra's mojo was.
Yeah, for sure.
It could have been, because wasn't she with like a lot of like big political figures, and
yeah,
might have been Xenai.
Yeah, it's true, and I have no idea what Cleopatra is.
Of course, I just using.
Yeah, but yeah, it is exciting to kind of think about it. But you guys see what I'm saying though, like that makeup. It's designed to be attractive, but it's a bit more like haughty. That's the right word. A little more coach her or something.
Yeah, it's like a chilly arrogance.
You know, she has like a kind of confidence that, you know, gives off this sort of impression where
Sort of
she knows what she's doing. She knows what she wants, kind
Really
of thing.
self-assured
Yes,
quality.
exactly. You know that she wants.
She knows what she wants, and she knows how to get what she wants. I guess you can say.
Yeah, it does get energy off. So that's a little trickier. I think I got it now, but going forward, I'll make sure I'm more careful in these kinds of cases where I'm weighing the two. Okay, Vizai Mary Carey. Okay, with her, I believe her had it down as a Vijay. I think it's a combination of, I didn't realize going in that there was going to be that many of the Zai Mojo. The Vijay is still very strong, but the two, the Vizai and the Zaini are equally strong, maybe even more so. Anyway, that combined with she has a very warm, sunny energy coming off. I think you can all see that. These pictures are fairly calm for her. Although now looking at it, not letting the maneuver hit me, I can see her cheeks aren't moving while she's doing this. It's Cheshire Cat. But the roundness of her face and how much warmth she was giving off kind of threw me. But you can see it, clear eyes. I got that one. I knew that it was a clear-eyed gatherer. But then the sunniness, that threw me a little bit. But that's Cheshire. Cheshire Sunny.
Does she want one of like the doll like V-side?
Yeah, exactly. The doll like these.
I definitely seen that. 100%.
Yes, her. I think I may have had her down as a Zai.
Okay. Okay. So Shinai, Zuai, and now. So okay. She is a Jinai Narani Zai. As Coach said, he saw. You know, she has a more boxy sort of structure, facial structure. And her also like her chin, it comes like it's a more framed jawline and
kind of that wedge shape they have.
Yeah, and it has a wedge shape, and that's sometimes indicative of a Nizai mojo. That it goes along for them with the Cheshire smile, so the G smile, but it doesn't. The energy doesn't go into the cheek bones. The emotive expression doesn't go into the cheeks. With Zulai, I can see why it would be tricky because she she has more of an imperious sort of riff. And so even when she smiles, it's not like you don't really see it. Yeah, she doesn't go into it all the way. It's kind of a little withheld. So it can be trickier to see the emotive expression above the midline.
It was tracking some of the, and you still need to do more, but getting into the high fashion models, the Jinai ladies that are in that, she reminds me of them. They often have that more withheld energy, statuesque.
And also she has that more huntress, cunning look that's coming from her Nai, and you can see it more. I think even better in the one on the left-hand side where she's looking in this like assessing sort of way. But that's Nai and not me. Does anyone else have anything they wanted to add here?
Yeah, it's just interesting noticing Jinai and Nizai. They have more. The Jinai will have more of the lionesque quality to them, and the Nizai will have more of the Cheshire quality to them. But both, metaphorically, I'm noticing that they both have, they're like cats.
Yeah, they do.
In that way, they both have that kind of quality to them, in their own special kind of way, though.
They have up-out energy with G.
Yeah.
He was down as a Nishai.
Sorry, whose turn is it? Mine?
Yep.
Cool. So Vijay, Guy, Fieri. So yeah, he goes along with the riff of the chefs that we've seen. So yeah, basically not too many Nishai, I don't think. I don't even know how many there are anymore. But it might be a few. Like it kind of makes sense in a way. It's like these their food's a very V sort of thing. So I can really see how the Vijay would really flock to that. So I like that. But anyway, with him, yeah, one of the differences you can see is he clearly has the Jez gather energy. You can see the emotive expression going up his face. He has a very kind of delighted, open shy. But his eyes aren't the dancing. They're clear eyes, although they're not, you can't see them all that well in these pictures.
He has a lot of knowledge.
But yeah, a lot of eye. And he seems like kind of like a powerful energy. But I think another way you could see it, like talk about it, the skin. The skin just has the more yang quality, not as the more fleshy quality looking. Like I don't know to describe it without sounding bad.
Yeah, we'd always associate the fleshy Gumby talk with the hands in particular because it's most obvious there. But actually, it really does go over everything, including the face. That fleshy Gumby difference.
He seems to have much more of like a zest for life, kind of earthy quality, as compared to, you know, the need, which would naturally bring more of the abstraction and the, you know, possibility, you know, that sort of angle to it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So what was she read as before?
Genai.
Yeah.
She has really good knee.
All right. So she by Sufi Bradshaw. So she was originally read as G9. I can see why. She is a G alpha. So she has warm aware moding, and that is going up all the way from the mouth into the eye area. You can see that there is definitely beneath the G warm aware moding that's going into the eyes. You can see that in the eyes that there's also a distinct piercing signal. That piercing signal combined, that bi-piercing signal, which is more concern, combined with the need brightness, can kind of be confused for Nye a lot, just because you're seeing a large interpretive energy, and you're also seeing the piercing energy. So distinguishing between the two can be tricky sometimes. However, you can still distinguish between the two, and you can still see distinctly what is causing both signals. And yeah.
This is Vijay E40. I believe he was previously read as a Nijai, maybe?
Yep.
Naishi?
Yeah.
Was it a Nijai?
Shy. Yeah.
Right. So, should I cover him, or is he good?
I guess we kind of did this already. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Vijay who was misread in the
Yeah, Vijay music artist that was misread as like a...
All right, Jai Gemma Chan, she was down, I think, at Jai Ni. She actually has really good Nai. She has kind of a nice slinky quality about her, but she actually is a little mojo. She has those clear eyes of a V mojo, and they're always clear like that.
She's in that cool show.
Yeah,
Was
Humans.
it? Humans. Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah. Cool. Good Nai, but this one here,
Okay.
I've had him as...
I requested him a long time ago. He's been through both the jazz.
Yeah, I had it down in the Jez.
Okay, so Zenai Christopher Langan. All right, so he's been called the smartest man in America. I think the dreaminess always came through with him.
Yeah.
I think it was
And the anger. He always seemed very angry to me. It's like, I remember when we first
Directive.
read him, it was me, Jylene, and Demas at that hangout. This was a really long time ago. And Demas and Jylene were both thinking Nijai, and I went along with it, but I think a little less confidently. And then you thought, like, you're like, no, he's an IG, and you can see, like, the anger. And there was that anger energy, so that was really there. But it's not IG.
yeah, so interesting. Now,
But yeah, Jylene and Demas were seeing the objective and the knee in the Jai. A Z in the Jai.
yeah, I felt very yeah, I remember. I think that's called coming back to me. Yeah, I felt very strongly about like seeing the Jai. I was really surprised. But yeah, now the full picture and having it come to Zenai, I think that Giant Z was always there. And the anger.
I think at one point, like, I mean, this was a long time ago. I was watching footage of him, And I think he said something like smart people tend to have big heads or something.
Yep.
So I think it's funny knowing he's a Z9.
It's interesting, yeah.
Pilot head.
Pilot, he has a substantial pilot.
He's got a very
face.
big head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
A big
He's
forehead.
big on the Z standardized testing too, which he does very well on, and that's why.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
So Nye, but
He's a smart guy, but I'm not sure he's the smartest in America.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of things that are impressive about with him.
yeah.
I'm going to lock him.
So he has Nye, but objective. He's not. Even when he's smiling, it's not going up into his face. The emotive expressioning. It's dry. You see the lower
His
lip.
face puts a lot of energy, takes energy up.
Yeah.
You mean forward energy?
Yeah, a lot of forward energy, like here. On the
Like his
right.
eyes in like that right picture, they almost look angry. Like the way they're like they're open, but like open angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a gatherer open. I don't have openness that looks like that.
With an anger.
Did you guys have other things with him? Anything?
No, I'm just noticing. I really thought Nijai made a lot of sense, but the directive angle is something that it makes a lot more sense now that he's been discovered as actually being a Xenai, because I was kind of wondering, like, he's a really directive Nijai if he's a Nijai, but no, he being a Xenai makes so much more sense now, because Xenai tend to have that kind of more dominant kind of forward thrust energy to them. And articulation always seemed very easy for him as well when watching videos of him, and yeah, I mean, for sure, yeah, it just makes a lot of sense. And yeah, the bigger, fuller face as well as the bigger, fuller body and stuff like that. Objectives tend to sort of like be confused for one another in that sense, but the pilots have more of the forward energy, whereas the gatherers they need to try more. They have to use their G or their Z in order to get that kind of energy going more. So yeah, and the emoting too. Yeah, doesn't go as up.
Although he does have a lot of like indignant jive.
Yeah, he probably has decent Jai development actually. Yeah, because he is a very like reflective, intellectual person.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Nai
so
too.
this is going to be.
I guess it's mine, right?
Okay, so go ahead and do this one because he is country as opposed to hip hop rap.
Okay. Sure.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
That's interesting. So Vijay Vince Gill, he's a music artist, apparently country. So I guess one thing I would just ask. So obviously we've seen tons of the Vijay in music. They seem to be and starting to show up again, which makes sense because we've already seen the AdSense ladies for so long. But are there a lot of them in country? I haven't been paying as much attention to that.
What I've seen, I think there are going to be a decent amount, but I haven't.
So like more than the Vijay.
I believe so. Yes.
Interesting.
Oh, I have one in mind that I think is probably going to be a Vijay who was previously read as a Nijai. He was involved in some kind of a scandal or something. I just have a feeling, but I don't know for sure. We'll have to see.
Jason Aldean, he's
Vijay. Yeah.
Vijay. He was already read.
He was on earlier in this vlog.
Yeah. I don't know if he's the one you're talking about, because there was a scandal with him having like
Who?
Jason Aldean.
Jason Aldean. I'll have to look him up.
Yeah. You were saying, Mitchell?
I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going to go ahead and do the Q distinction. So, just as a Vijay, and he was read as Nijai.
Yeah, Jason Aldean. This is exactly the guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice connection there without even knowing it. So, as a Vijay, you're going to see the clear eyes. So, I mean, you can look at his eyes right up there in the left picture. That's a pretty good picture of them. They're not dancing. They don't look like dancing at all. They're not that diffuse. They're much more like camera lens. Boom, right there, and the face as well. Again, gather in general, but and with the warm to the modem going up the face, but just the more yang quality to the skin, very fleshy.
So this is Vijay Preston Brust.
Yeah, same kind of
Another
thing.
country one.
So,
Cowboys.
Gosh, Cowboys.
This is Vijay Frankie Knuckles, DJ and music producer.
Okay,
Still the same general area, you know.
Alyssa Miller model. I believe I had her down as a neat eye, so really similar to actually that one from before that I mistook it for. She has that broad smile, and her cheeks, they do move with the muscle flexation of a values-based mojo, but it's smooth. She has a smooth cheekbone.
Kind of ripped off of Mansion.
Yes, exactly, right? She has that waviness in the upper lip that I sometimes associate with Cheshire Cat. Has a
Eyes also.
It kind of goes
like
straight across.
Wide.
Yeah, but I do believe that the emoting is going all the way up, and that is the Ionic.
So you thought she was a Nizai?
I did. I thought,
Okay.
I thought the one on the left, for example, I thought maybe that was Cheshire because
Right.
it has a bit of a distinct line there, the way it goes sideways. But somewhere like that, Julia Roberts has that too. You know what I mean? Where it's very distinct where her upper lip goes. But it doesn't mean her cheeks aren't moving too.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Like, because the cheeks are rather smooth, a lot of energy from my eyes was gravitating towards that upper lip. To the point where I actually thought, like, oh, my seeing it stopped there, but I'm not. It is still traveling up. It just, you see how the energy is around the mouth, and then a lot of times it radiates like a similar, you know what I mean, like a similar fascia from that point on. Hers almost has like two. There's like what her mouth's doing, and it transfers into a more soft look up on the cheeks, but that's not uncommon in models, the G9 models, so I'm getting more used to it.
Yep.
Okay, she, I think, was down as Nez Pilot. I think I had her G9. They're like, no,
You
that's
just said the other one. You said the other
so that one.
one?
That was me, so you're up next.
Oh, I'm not.
Yes, this is for you. So I had her down as a G9, but then I'm like, no, that's Z. And then I was like, no, wait, I don't believe that's I think that's Vi. So Z-Vi. So she went for the Nez Pilots.
Okay, so let's see. Then let's address what cues you see here. So one, I mean, she has a very strong, her head, the shape like a pilot head, large, forward, solid. Here on the left-hand side, she's not. It looks like very strong bracing. Very strong bracing. When she's smiling, even though she has the lines here that are part of her facial structure, it's the emoting is really around the mouth area. And then
Now too is like she just commenting what she was saying there. She has a lot of up energy. One that really helped me get her was all these Z-Vi soccer players of female soccer. A lot of them have this really up, you know what I mean, like bright, happy about life energy. And I'm getting more used to actually reading it and realizing that doesn't mean automatically values based. So that was one of the things. The other one is that she is our only Z-Vi female in MMA.
Wow. Kudos to her. And as far as the eyes, there's the concentrated, dense, piercing gaze of the Vi, and she has, you can tell, good knee.
Yes, she does.
Her eyes do have quite a bit of brightness that comes from the buoyancy of the.
Interesting noting her cheeks. They look sort of like metal that's like got dimples in it or something. You know, like folds.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, exactly.
Like tailored metal.
Yeah, I like the dimples and the folds. I like that. It's like they're like sheets that are folded.
Yeah.
But the individual
Exactly.
in there, they don't have that fine flexation. They have folds. That's it. Right, Mitchell? Okay, I believe I had her as a Naiji.
Okay. So yeah, Ziny, Emily Tremaine, and yeah, I think you could like sort of see why you would. Her eyes have a kind of like just this sort of like knowing look. Like she's like
knowing, yeah.
she's like and like almost a little directive. Like she's trying to like get your attention on something. I don't know, but yeah, you can. I guess that is the difference between the Naishi and the Ziny. She's not doing any emoting at all in either picture, and you can clearly see that the cheeks are not naturally move. Although that's probably pretty tricky because I'm sure a lot of the models that they go for that look. But still, when the Dorams have the more still face, it just has this like look to it. Like I remember you were describing it to me once of like, is this a person who is naturally like that, or they're doing like lots of modulation to appear like that, and you have to like get used to finding that. Because I guess G and I are even more common, so for them it's even more extreme. But even the Naishi had that.
Yeah.
Somewhat.
True. Good point. Something else that I don't know if throw it out here, it helped me realize it is the that trumpet G I've mentioned, particularly for the Xi Alpha, where they have that outward pucker, but it's like a very localized pucker. She kind of has a little bit on each picture, where she's actually getting a good amount of G energy in there to make like protruded energy, but it doesn't travel anywhere. So I call it like a trumpet because it reminds like a trumpet because the rest of the face doesn't really move. The energy, the G can't really go up the face. It almost like flutes the lips, like a very localized pucker.
Yeah, you can definitely see that in both pictures. Her upper lip, it's kind of like trying to move in a way, but it's not. It's kind of.
Well, she actually is putting energy into it. I mean, she really is. It's not like she's modulating it like the Naiji would.
Right.
Yeah. Then her
like
eyes,
when they're
yeah.
out like that, it looks restrained.
Yeah, Naiji females like Natalie Portman and that one what's her name, the Underworld films, Kate Beckinsale and stuff like that. They don't have that same look. Their smile goes up much more easily and readily. Evangeline Lilly and that sort of thing. Her mouth definitely has more of the localized quality to it.
Okay. So the last thing I would note hue-wise, just as far as like the eyes, just for the distinguishing, is that they do have a knowing look, and I mean she's clearly using a lot of poise and vi. But there's two things. One, they do have like a little bit of a knee playful like mischievousness, especially on the left. She has this, and definitely on the left, almost like a kind of hardcore, unimpressed, dismissive quality to the eyes. That actually an IG, although our eyes are harder in some ways, it's not really that. It's more piercing.
It is, yeah.
It's not like dismissive. It's more like I can see right through you.
That's the point.
Yeah, I definitely see the playfulness in the one on the right for sure.
And this distinction here that we're talking about is one that we'll be doing quite a bit when we get into the modeling bubble, because the two Durams, for example, in high fashion, they go for the statuesque, bring in the Zai, but then the Zai knee, a lot of them kind of go for this, it's a very imperious, hard look.
Mm-hmm.
Another rambling. I think I had her as a knee Zai.
All right,
Ben?
so this one's mine. Okay. So, Naiji Levin Rambin. So yeah, I can definitely see why she can be confused for Nizai. She does kind of I picture on the right, especially like her eyes sort of pop and like with her V, and her G, like the way she emotes, like it's sort of like her face and also the way it's structured, it looks a little bit more, a little bit like it's shaped a lot like you see with Nizai, more kind of boxy-ish. And that combination can definitely make her somewhat seem like she's, like it can definitely make it confusing comparing her between the Nizai. But I definitely still do see the moting going up into the cheeks. In the eyes, they look much more like intense, and even the stimulus register energy that I am getting is more V laser than knee dancing. And it definitely doesn't seem natural state. So, yeah.
No, yeah, that was the natural state. That was the thing we zoned in on, because just the boxiness and her overall playfulness. But those are maneuvers.
All right, this is Jaivi Nazanin Bunyadi.
Nice. I believe she was down as a VJI.
Okay, so this is just an AdSense difference here. But yeah, the emoting, unlike the Vijay, it goes up more, higher, past the brim line and into the eyes. And also the eyes are the more dominant feature. They also have more of that hooded quality to them, so there's more of a veil to them. They're not popping out quite as much like it would be for a Vijay. The face is more elongated as well.
And you said the eyes popping out. You meant that for the Vijay, right?
Yeah, exactly. For the Jai V, the eyes are going to be popping out, but they're going to have more of the veil to them, right? So
Right.
the V is going to be there, but it's not going to be like the V Jai, where it's going to be the main focus on the visage, as well as popping out much more in the objective, clear, like the dominant feature kind of way. And that's what I said, but. It is worth noting there in that sense. And other than that, she's got the unifield face, and yeah, I mean that's basically it. I mean, yeah, poignancy over amped energy for sure. I can definitely note that the poignancy is the distinct signal here, not the V amped quality.
That common quality. Jai ought to have. All right, Vaiji Cherry Cooney. I believe I had her down as Naiji, so pretty much like before. Has a lot of knee, and has a bit more of a maybe academic or away from the world vibe than say other Vaiji have. But that is Vi in the eyes.
Interesting.
Lots of Vaiji women.
She's an Egyptologist for history.
Makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's nice to see so many Vaiji females. It's going to help to.
It is.
Bolster those. Aren't Jai V. Candace Patton.
It's not shiny.
Okay, so let's see.
It's a similar one that Glenn did, which add anything. And
Yeah, so well, one thing is just in the styling. Sometimes they go it can be a little tricky when they have a more soft makeup look, like their style is more of like the, I don't know, girl next door or something, or like they are highlighting the virtue, and so the makeup is more muted colors and more highlighting around the face. So not so much like the poppy like makeup that like strong lip color and strong eye color, like eyeshadow and all that kind of stuff, that can bring out the features like the laser eyes, and be more reminiscent of makeup that like the AdSense would wear normally. But this kind of makeup, and sort of like with a lot of it looks like there's like maybe a filter also here, can make it seem more dreamy looking and more possibly confusing it with interpretive. And anything particular for her?
Did you mention like the nine thing, right? That she has a lot of good.
Well, yeah, she has a good amount of
So she
nine,
does
like the slinkiness.
dreamy slinky.
Yeah, so that also adds to the trickiness.
All right. Vijay Curtis Stone. Jeff. Yes, I've already done that.
Yeah.
Same gig.
Yeah, yeah.
Nijai?
Was he res Nijai?
Yeah.
Cool.
Same thing with this one.
Yeah. So read the name though.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, read the name.
Okay, so we should do the one above this one then, because we didn't read his name.
I thought we did. But okay, good.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah. Right, Mitchell. What's his name?
I thought I
Wait a
said
minute,
Vijay Curtis Stone.
Mitchell did say it. Mitchell did say it.
Yeah, he did say it. Yeah, just yeah.
Your turn, Ben.
I'm confused. I thought there were two chefs consecutively.
No, there's just one.
There wasn't just one.
Okay, that was weird. Okay.
George.
Vijay Biz Markey.
All right, this is Vijay George Duke, another music artist, probably also read as Nijai.
Vijay Terra Danger, same thing.
Vijay Slay.
Same difference.
Uh-huh.
Mitchell?
Sorry. Vijay George Benson.
You really see his laser eyes now, can't you?
Yeah. Okay.
Vijay Goldie.
So many Vijay. Vijay Sam Smith. Oh yeah, he kind of does remind me of Adele.
Right, in his eyes, so clear. Vijay, Billy Cobham.
Vijay Maxim Gurov.
Vijay Carl Cox.
Vijay Marshall Jefferson.
Vijay Muddy Waters.
See the left there? That's classic Vijay.
Yeah.
Vijay Romeo Santos.
Vinay David Fumero.
I believe I had him down as a G-Vi, and I'll be honest, that was just prejudice because he was a soap opera.
Yeah.
It happens.
And he has
It happens. Yeah.
Dude dreaminess. I don't know, somehow. Less sleepy dream.
He probably does like a similar look to them.
Yeah.
It's not quite as, I don't know, overtly slinky, but it's softer. He has a softer look that Vinay has versus Vi. But it's not as, I don't know, a lot of times Vinay kind of gives that like cunning, like waiting to see him, like trying to jump to see an angle. He seems a little sleepier. That's what you said?
Yeah. Sleepy.
Yeah.
Cool. My turn? Vijay Yolanda Foster.
Okay, with her, combination of she's the Real Housewives, and also a little bit away, maybe not in general, but just me personally, she struck me as a little harsh. Something about her vibe. I don't know, or just brazen or something, but that could just be me. But anyway, I thought that she was like a Xenai.
Interesting, yeah, because I know those housewives, the Ziny, are like all over that. But so Xenai would be interesting, but I could see that because, like, you know, a lot of their mates are probably Xenai, so they could have like some double directive.
It's mainly
Vijay's a little more interesting, and I wonder what's going on there.
They do actually have a few Xenai. It's mainly Ziny, and there's a little bit of Xenai, Jivi, and Vijay is the little spice. But I thought she was Xenai spice, not a Vijay spice.
So yeah. They have similar powers, the Vijay and the Xenai. So, I mean, there's a lot of similarity there. But with her, well, I guess the emoting is going up the face. That's definitely one of the big ones. So she's values-based. And her eyes, she seems like she kind of has a lot of Nai in a way. But even if you compare it to someone like Chris Langan, who was thought maybe to be a gatherer, who's the Xenai, they're not like this like open angry quality still. I don't know. So like they really do look like primarily playful.
Yeah, natively.
Like natively playful. So like when she's opening them, they don't always have, well, not always, but like they don't have this like undertone to them of like
the V and the Jai. Yeah, I just want to add, like, the V and the Jai sets the tone for the Z and the Nai to come in later, and it's definitely a difference between momentum and modulation.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
I think one thing that also is perfect, a little bit boxy.
It's a little bit boxy, yeah. I was gonna say I could see that would be a tricky one actually. It's like even I'm just thinking like I could see some things that would make her.
The smile also looks a bit deceptive too, like almost like it's kind of localized in a way, but it's not. It's
like she's not like she's smiling, but she's not like that happy.
Just that's what it was. I that's exactly what one of the things I was tripped up on was I think that she's just a little more withheld. Like her shy, she never really kind of fully gets into it. And both of them, she's smiling, but she's kind of like, do you know what I mean?
It's more of a false smile, right?
It is full, but it's like a little. I don't know.
It's more of a false smile, yeah.
She's not like all there. And that's
she's posing for the camera, kind of. In
not
a way.
like that shy delighted that you sometimes see.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to give herself to it.
And it makes sense. It's not aware emoting.
No.
I would say, three things, Charlie. Like it's self-conscious. She seems like self-conscious about. Just, I'm curious what you think of her. She's not giving it fully. What is it? Did you read it? Why?
It seems she seems a little pained.
Pain.
I know that she's had a lifelong battle with, or a long long time battle with Lyme disease that's left her very drained. She's been to the hospital many times, you know. So she has been battling an illness, a long-term illness that zaps the energy.
So maybe it's like a fragility, or
yes,
maybe
I think fragility. Yeah.
pain.
Pain. Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
This,
Makes Ben's.
I had her as a Nijai.
I remember her.
I remember her too.
Yeah, I remember her too, and it makes sense now. Like her
We talked
energy.
about it.
Yeah.
But she has a generally, she's rather playful Zenai riff, and as we know, Nijai crush it on architecture stuff.
Okay. So I guessed Zenai and her when we took the quiz. But so I don't know.
Nice.
Anyways,
I totally knew that. I knew that.
Yeah.
sorry. I mean I didn't want to say it in like a sort of braggadocious way, but I thought it was I don't know, relevant. Anyway, she's a Zenai. She has her eyes, I think, can be kind of tricky because she does have rather large eye sockets, which that sort of lightly correlates with being objective, but it's not like an absolute thing, and it can confuse you when determining between, say, like a pilot and a gather. You know, the way the eyes are and eye sockets are shaped can be tricky, and she does have a rather you know, some playful game, playful energy, good Jai development as well. You know, for that reason, it could be easy to you know, confuse a Nijai for a Zenai.
Interesting thing.
Or a Zenai for a Nijai. So getting back to her energy, when you look into the eyes, she does have, you know, decent V development, but when you see that stimulus-rich energy, the way she's looking out, say in the picture on the right, that does have a very clear energy. I'm not seeing a dancingness. I'm not seeing like a Vi woody quality. It seems very clear, and it also seems quite cunning. She does have a certain slinkiness to her, having Nai consciously, and the face, it is still look like a big full Z pilot face to me. Oh, go ahead, Glenn. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I didn't think I was heard, but yeah. One thing I wanted to say about her was I kind of felt a little bit off about her being a Nijai the entire time that from the moment she was read as a Zenai. And I think I may have said Zenai for her too, Ben. I think because her energy always seemed a little bit, not harsh, but it seemed like very naturally, very, bracing in a way. Like some of the things that she said in one of her interviews, I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, but she said something to the effect of like architects are, like she's better than a lot of the male architects or something. And I thought like, oh, okay, that's an interesting thing to say, right? That seemed a little bit provocative in a way. And I was like, it seemed to me like a Nijai like saying that would be a little bit weird. Because I don't know if they would put it in that same kind of a way. And I think that a Zenai would be a lot more comfortable with that kind of like way of positioning themselves. So it's interesting finding out that she is one. But yeah, Coach?
Coach,
the Zenai in general are more comfortable, I'd say, like a broad spectrum of pushing things forward. But when it comes to making those kind of personal assessments, particularly about human worth, the Nijai and Zenai actually are both rather strident in that regard, in a positive way. When it comes to like activism, you see a lot of the Zenai ladies and Nijai ladies occupying the same.
Yeah, like the feminists. Although, yeah, I wonder. I mean, even a lot of those Nijai are reading a lot of Zenai, so they're probably getting.
I know, but there's something like in the way in which that a Nijai does it. It's sort of like I feel like I'm able to note that on a like a visceral kind of level. Like there's something.
There is a difference. Sure. You're right. Although I think they both could get the adjective as strident, there is a qualia difference.
Right.
There's a little bit there's a little bit more of a blunt matter of factness to the Zenai.
Exactly. Like there's like a line of Jai that the Zenai is more readily capable of like tripping over. Or not tripping
like
over, but like
self-conscious almost.
Yeah, as opposed to the Nijai, which I can feel like when I'm reading them, they're tracking on that Jai line, and they're very, very cognizant of it, and being very careful how they go about that. And I can note that as a Naiji, like, oh, so
Yeah, sometimes,
they're doing something there.
yeah, sometimes they're careful, sometimes they're not. But I do hear you saying as far as
Sometimes
like,
especially purposefully hurtful.
yeah, exactly, or can be unaware, but they are in that space. I do feel more like a feistiness from the new China put it forward. Although it's like feisty academic a lot of times, whereas these times are a lot of times like academic pugnacious. So academic pugnacious versus the other can seem quite.
All right, this is Jivai Kenny Johnson. I think it was read as a Jinai.
Correct.
So do we need to do I need to do him, or sure is it okay?
The other, the reverse. We did the reverse. This guy that was
But not the other way around.
So popular.
Okay, so we haven't done it the other way around then. Okay, so I guess I'll cover him then. So, he's in, yeah, I can definitely note when it comes to his, yeah, he's a G alpha, so he obviously has the same G alpha kind of cues, the lioness quality to him. But unlike the Genii, he lacks that sort of the more. I think he has a lot of good knee. I think that's part of the reason maybe he was thought to be an interpretive, and he also isn't necessarily on a soap opera, and so that kind of like he's on Criminal Intent, Law and Order. That seems to me more of like a mainstream kind of like more interpretive friendly kind of like a TV show. So naturally, you would think that he would be a Genii, just because you note that he has G as a source power. But the Vi definitely comes into play, given that it gives him much more of like a little bit more of a sullen quality. I can definitely note in his face. It has more of like that pallor, not to the extent that the Vi G would have, and also more of like a tighter quality in the jaw and in the smiling in the eyes. The eyes have more of like a prepared quality to them as well, and I feel like I'm even able to see the knee as well too, in the way that it kind of shines up and gives them sort of like a intellectual kind of like vibrant quality to him, and it's different as compared to like the knee or the V that the G9 would have, which has more of like an amped, kind of aesthetic quality to it. So yeah, he kind of does riff to me a little bit like some like a bodybuilder kind of type as well, a little bit. Although it's a little bit different, but yeah, I definitely feel like I'm able to draw some parallels there. Yeah.
All right, Johnny Colin Morgan. He was down as a Naiji because he played Merlin, so therefore he must be
right.
A
All wizards are Naiji or Naiji.
But no, he's a Johnny. On both those, he's very comfortable holding his own space. And on the one on the right, for example, we can see he's doing very little loading at all in the mouth area. The face still has that tone. And then in both, he has the dancing eyes. And even on the left one, where you see him doing a little bit of the world view, a little bit of squinting, it actually gets that more tight quality. It doesn't get slinky. We're dancing, and it gets a little bit tighter, modulation tighter with the body.
I notice a lot of those. There's a few of those shiny who were read here originally who have this kind of like sunny sort of riff, because they're like it can almost seem like kind of more out and IG or like were directives. So, but
yeah, and he has a calming energy.
But it is calming. Yeah. Definitely very calming.
Okay, JB Edmund.
That's Naiji.
Who's on his Naiji. Well, again, he's a Shaibi that has a lot of Nai. He also has a sort of a leading man look, and not saying, they're, even though he's a music artist, it's more, the general styling, I think, is like of a leading man. But like a Denzel Washington. What's that?
Not that you can't have both in the way, according to natural law, but in pop culture, that way of styling oneself is seen more as directive.
More as directive, yeah. But he is here with just very little emoting in both pictures. The tone is traveling up his face, and he has a calming energy, a poignant energy. His lower lip here in both pictures has more energy than the rest, which tells you it's dry. And also the mouth area has more energy in general than the eyes. So be discerner.
Yeah, the mouth definitely does look very unaware, especially on the right. The way it's shaped, the way that it looks, the way it comes across, it seems very distinct to me now. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, Jivey, John Stockman.
Same thing.
Cool. So, Andrea True. What was she read as before?
She actually has a nice Z because kind of like her kind of attitude on stage is kind of like dan dan dan. You know what I mean?
Arch, kind of like a female David Bowie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like a diva in a way.
Yeah, very control diva.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. You know, she does kind of look like she has a little bit of an attitude to her, which can sort of make you think, oh, maybe this person's like a hunter or something. But yeah, I mean, I do see the long tower look to the face, and also the unifield quality, the calming energy, as well as the localized geomoting. It's very punchy towards the right around the lip line area, whereas for like an IZ, you would see the articulation energy of the Z throughout the cheeks as well. And I can also see that in the eyes, they don't look like particularly like really intense to me or really piercing to me. She definitely has some of that energy, but it definitely doesn't look like that's as strong of a signal as I would see in a Nye Alpha.
It also looks a little. Is this maybe like a little bit like chili salty?
Oh yeah, chili salty.
Yeah.
You're boring me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I definitely get that from her.
Uninteresting.
Mm-hmm. I think Xi Alpha or Xi in general just have that. The unflappable can kind of be read as like that.
It's got a bit of a spectrum to it, yeah. There's something that was like very...
Ironically, like all the adaptive powers, it is the form of approachability.
Yeah.
It's actually saying literally like impress me.
Yeah.
And
instead of like some Xi Alpha, or like it's more just a really chilly openness where it's not like they're expecting you to impress them, but they just sort of.
But that like stand there like impress me.
Yeah, it is. They want you to approach them, but only certain people. They have the filtering very strong.
Right, but Z ambition and thirst for challenge is they saying impress me, thirst for challenge. Did someone ring?
Yeah. Z
is like more than willing to deliver on that, though, right? It makes sense.
I love to impress people.
So I guess as romantics, all of us here, that particular form of approachability may seem a bit foreign to us, but it is a part of approachability. That's a different way. Cool in its way. You have to in there. It's cool in its way. Okay. That was terrible. I apologize.
All right, is this mine? Vijay Riffraff. Now he's an interesting one. So who was he previously read as? An IG?
Nijai thing.
I didn't catch that.
Yes, Nijai.
Oh, Nijai. Okay.
Vijay, Kersey Sledge, another one of those crooners. But he's got those bright, clear eyes. He looks a little bit on the left, a little bit like Bone. John Bone. The Spider-Man.
Vijay Slim Doug. Okay.
Tipping on fofos.
Yeah, that's like that. That's they're the anger showing through even in the name. But he's kind of like almost thug-like Vijay. Yeah. Really emphasizing like the yangness of the V. All right, Vijay Freedom Williams. It's a bit less so.
Vijay Jackie Wilson.
Vijay Junior Walker.
Vijay, Sir Mix-a-Lot. Oh, there you go. That's big.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Vijay, they're big on music here.
He's a wrestler too, so that's interesting.
That's awesome.
So that's funny. Vijay Russell Tompkins Jr.
Vijay Joseph Run Simmons.
Vijay Travis Tritt.
Look at the eyes on him. So bright. Vijay Maurice White.
Vijay Squeak Eat Clean.
Are there any Nijai left in music now? It makes you wonder.
There's still a lot of Naiji. It's mainly the Nijai that took most of the hit.
But they're big in indie, right?
Yeah, they're big in India, exactly. But in mainstream, it's actually similar to cooking. A lot of Vijay and Naiji.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Interesting.
Annie Hathaway.
Vijay Joe Bonsall.
Oh, he reminds me of that one painter dude.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What's his name?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Those infomercials.
Who's up?
I think it's Ben. Ben.
Okay. Vijay Dwayne Allen.
Vijay Mickey Gilly.
And I'll just pause on him. Just because
Oh, right, I remember him.
He was on a
Yeah.
quiz.
he actually is a country music artist, but I think he's more known as being the nightclub owner. So there's something out there. One thing Jailene and I have been noticing is that a lot of restaurants have Vijay as the owners and the operators. And
They're just big into food, I guess. That's just their
Yeah,
thing.
so obviously the food part, but actually as being the owners and runners and the owners and managers tend to have a lot of V and not.
Yeah. Just involved in that general area. They like to be surrounding somehow.
No.
It makes it's like fulfilling to their big pathway.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly, but I just want to highlight that this particular riff, like he is, as he got into like the business side, actually,
Yeah.
like a very
This is kind of like with the wrestlers. With the wrestlers, there's the fighter Vizai, but then even like the managers are
Exactly.
often Vizai.
Exactly.
Just like being involved in that.
All right, is this mine?
Yeah.
This is Vijay Ray Dalton.
Vijay Ricky Bell. He's the Bell in Bell Biv DeVoe.
Oh man, Fat Man Scoop. Oh.
Scoop.
Oh, everybody's kung fu fighting.
Oh, that's this guy. Okay.
Whose turn is it? Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Vijay Carl Douglas. So, the Kung Fu guy. He's one of the thug Vijay.
Vijay Nestor Hadaway.
Oh, Hadaway. Oh man. Okay, this is Vijay Little Anthony.
Vijay Nathan Morris.
Vijay Wanaya Morris, also from Boys to Men.
Vijay Rafael Ruiz Herdigones.
Was he read as a Nijai?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Is it Ben's turn?
Yeah.
Ben.
Okay. Vijay Shaggy.
I noticed that like when they have a lot of Nai, a lot of these kind of like, tough guy, Vijay music artists, is they get more like street savvy, like slick, cunning, as compared to like the Concern.
Yeah, he's the one that did that "Caught Me Red-Handed" song. Yeah, I remember. All right, this is Vijay Brooke Benton.
Vijay Michael Bivens.
The other. Viv.
The
in
Viv in Bell Biv
Biv
DeVoe.
Vijay Albert Brown.
Vijay Robert Cray.
Right.
It's crazy.
Vijay Mel Carter.
There seems to be like a similar riff going on here. This Vijay D. Clark. They all like seem like very serenade-y kind of. I don't know, like.
Boyish.
Some of the older ones are, but we have the country ones, We've got these crooner ones you're talking about. We've got the gangster, thuggish ones.
Right. It's a variety.
Yeah, the a little bit like this one, but it's like like the lover boy.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and there's also like a kind of a white trashy party animal rip.
That's interesting.
That's so funny.
Makes sense.
We just did this one.
I just did that one.
Did that
Just-
one. Okay, so
Coach.
Ejai Solomon.
these guys send dog.
Oh, wow.
Say for so.
There.
All right. Vijay Edwin Starr.
Vijay Byron Stingley.
Oh, I know that guy, but I don't know where. Vijay Lou Rawls.
Ejai David Hidalgo. Los Logos.
Vijay Bill Withers.
Look at the shy on him.
Vijay Young MC.
Don't see in the house.
I can see that.
Vijay Lou Vega.
Vijay Robert Cool Bell. I wouldn't be surprised if Neo turned out to be a Vijay.
Sure, good chance. We'll see.
What's he Gina right now?
Ejai Billy Davis Jr. Neo sounds familiar. I think that might be true.
I think it's a Gina right now.
Vijay Jimmy Ellis.
Vijay Christopher Cross.
Kind of reminds me of Jack Black.
He does.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Vijay Teo Cruz.
Oh,
Why not?
yeah, that makes sense. Vijay Gene Chandler.
Ejai Bruce Channel.
He's a Vijay trickster.
Vijay Tommy Edwards.
Vijay Tom Johnston.
Vijay Louis Jordan.
Vijay David Jude.
Ejai B.B. King.
Vijay Ben E. King.
Vijay Corey Glover.
Vijay Jadakis.
Jada.
Jadakiss.
Vijay Van McCoy.
Lover boy. Vijay Antonio Romero Munga.
Vijay
Nice.
Kelvin Mercer.
Vijay Vincent Mason.
Vijay Floyd Newman.
My name.
Yes. Are you related, Mitchell?
I really wonder. Doesn't look like it though, from what I remember of his face.
Right, this is Vijay Taco Okeris. Okeris.
Ejai Howard Hewitt. Come on.
Vijay Toots Hibbert.
Vijay Bernard Purdy. I remember him. He was Vijay.
Vijay Bobby Purify.
Vijay Lawrence Payton.
Ejai Dennis Seaton.
Vijay Allen Sherman.
Kevin James. That's good.
Vijay Stevie B.
Vijay Victor Willis.
Jivai Dwayne Davis.
Keep it down as Gina. I just let me cover that. He's an actor.
All right, look at the Vi and the knee. The
Yeah.
eyes.
Jaivi Marquis Nonstop Scott, who's down as Naiji. Similar to some music artists we've seen before, but I'll just go through it. He has a lot of nod, a lot of slinky, but you can see that long unifield face. And
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah, these a lot of those very dance people were read as Naiji originally, and I'm sure there probably are still some Naiji in dance, but the Jai V, I mean, I guess the towerness I would think would help with that, with doing like really like collapsible sort of dance maneuvers.
Yeah.
That they can do, and they add like the slinky to it also.
Yeah, that I think probably yeah.
Michael Jackson is known as a very good dancer. Demas mentioned a few other ones on Facebook at one point. Sorry, females. He got some good, nice slinkiness.
This one out. Yeah, definitely. Who's there?
Jailin?
Izzy Enrique Murciano.
I had him as a shiny because he plays kind of very slinky and almost like his form of intimidation. You know him from Power. He's the guy above the main character, and he's always kind of like Floki. You know Floki from Viking. He how do you call it? This real super slinky energy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in terms of cues, let's see. So yeah, a lot of Jai. You see the lower lip here, but his eyes kind of like draw you them as having more energy. He does seem to be doing something different with his eyes than the rest of his face. He has a more maybe like more like less committal or more like fluid. It's still sort of like you see here on the right hand side. It's piercing or focused sort of look, assessing the and also more boundary setting than not. Also, when he's emoting, here on the left-hand side, when he's emoting, the emoting is not going into the cheeks.
It's easy to see here in the pictures. He's the kind of sample you guys that maybe, I know you guys are familiar with this, where when you see them in motion, a lot of times it helps. Okay. It helps it, but sometimes you see in motion, it can be more challenging because their maneuvers are hitting you. Because here in still frame, like she said, the eyes and the amount the emoting is going up the face, I totally see it. But in motion, he has this very kind of slinky, hidden, kind of soft quality. Very effective. He's a very good actor. Oh, Jailin just pointed out that we have crossed over the 4:30 mark. So we go ahead and call here for the day. Let's go through. Who did that person? You?
I did.
All right, let's finish the turnout. Let's do finish the turnout. So Mitchell, Ben, and Glenn, and we'll call it.
Fair enough. I hear my voice really loudly.
Yeah.
It's very distracting. I can't even speak. Okay, it's gone. Okay, Vijay Xiaobo Kin.
Vijay. Four.
Interesting. Yeah.
Maybe you should cover that though. Is he? Have we done that before? He's an actor.
All right, I don't know.
I don't remember, but
I don't remember either.
Okay, that's fine. Okay.
but we haven't done this before. So G.Vi Leslie Smith.
She was
as a G9. Okay. So yeah. In the picture on the right, I see the distinction much more clearly than the picture on the left. Although I can see in both pictures, is in the eyes. You can see the Vi and the knee. I think quite clearly. I can see the knee dancing, and I can see how it's altered state, and I can also see a bit how it's like piercing. It's like the at least the overall signal in the eyes from the Vi. And you can see in that picture, she's very much so forward. She's you see the helmet of caring, and she's bringing that caring energy on very strongly, and it's radiating throughout her entire face. So yeah.
And this is Nizi Joseph Sikora.
So here a bit of an unusual one, well, not unusual in general, but for tonight. But you guys are familiar with this. I actually misread him as a G9. One of those G9 miss things.
All right. Yeah, I can definitely see how that could possibly happen. He seems like he would be like one of those G9 that probably has more of like the stronger Zai, the stronger, more.
Right.
Yeah, the more refrained kind of. Sometimes G9 can sometimes be like that, and he also has that more. It almost looks like a pilot face kind of thing. It seems more. Boss Thunder face or something. Yeah. Yeah. So that could also confuse. But yeah, the emoting doesn't go into the eyes. It stops actually at the midline. and it's unaware as well. And the eyes, they pop out much more so than they do the mouth, although they are hooded and not unhooded. So yeah.
And also, one thing I feel as well is that if you look at his pictures, for example, he does the tone he has here. It doesn't travel up his face, so that's logic based. But you guys can see he does have tone. He has tone in pretty much every picture and role I've seen him in. And I think the fact that he does tone everything so much made me think I was seeing, values based, but actually I wasn't. He just uses his power quite continuously. His value based power.
Yeah, he kind of does like riff a little bit of like a Michael Fassbender in a way, but it's not the same because it's only a Nye Mojo kind of riff. It's not really, or like a physical kind of riff, but not really anything more than that. He's definitely a Nye Z.
Yeah, because even as flat as Fassbender's cheeks are, they do flex. They do the fine flexation. All right, so we'll pause there and start up next time. Okay, so then we'll plan on having regular time this week, Tuesday.
Sure.
And
Sounds
then,
good.
and if you have time, Mitchell, we'll meet on Monday. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to be on Tuesday. I'm not 100% sure I won't, but I'm just saying it's unlikely.
Okay, gotcha. Do what you can do, though. I appreciate it. All right, have a good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Good stuff. Good purification.